Hours after gas explosion rocks Minnehaha Academy, second body is found. Minnehaha Academy senior Kim Alige was in the school counselor's office, her parents by her side when the sudden warning came. "Get out," a staffer cried, breaking the Wednesday morning calm on the upper school campus. "There's a gas leak." They leapt for the door just as the center of the South Minneapolis private school building exploded, the blast knocking her to the floor. Day's mother jumped on top of her, instinctively sheltering her child with her body. Then they scrambled through the back door of the counseling office while her father went looking for her classmates. The teenager was among the students and staff who escaped the natural gas explosion that killed receptionist Ruth Berg, 47, and janitor John F. Carlson, 82, and injured 9 other people, 1 critically. Carlson's body was pulled from the rubble just before 9 p.m. by staffers from the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's office and removed from the scene. Meanwhile, staff and parents at the Christian school along the Mississippi River in Minneapolis grieved even as they gave thanks that fall classes were not yet in session. "Tonight is an example of the kind of caring community we are," Minnehaha Academy President Donna M. Harris, who was injured in the blast, said during an evening prayer service at the Academy's nearby lower and middle campus. 700 people packed the campus chapel for the emotional service, which featured hymn singing, words of comfort, and many tears. "We're going to get through it," Harris said. "We trust God. He is going to do phenomenal work." The explosion rocked and set ablaze the upper school at 10:23 a.m., causing a partial collapse. Fire Chief John Fredel confirmed 1 fatality during an afternoon news conference held within yards of deeply gouged building, saying a body had been pulled from the rubble sometime after 2 p.m., while also acknowledging of the 2 missing, "We have located 1, just 1. Late Wednesday, 1 person remained hospitalized in critical condition and 3 in satisfactory condition at Hennepin County Medical Center. 5 were treated and released. Among those on the upper school campus at the time of the blast were year-round staff, girls for summer cross-country practice, as well as school basketball and soccer players. Classes were scheduled to begin August 23. Condolences poured onto social media for Berg, who was engaged to be married, according to future brother-in-law Jeff Burrington, and Carlson, a Minnehaha alumnus who returned in 2003 to work as a janitor and was well loved by students and faculty alike. His wife, Barbara Carlson, would only say in a telephone interview from her Minneapolis home, "I am not doing well. I haven't heard from my husband, and I'd like to keep the line free." A big drugman basement. In the first moments after the blast, the race against time and the peril of leaking natural gas proved daunting for the initial emergency responders. Police officer Dean Milner said he and others saw 1 person under the rubble and were told there was another they could not spot. He and the other officers broke apart what remained of a demolished wall and freed the first person. But because of flames, heat, and the lack of heavy equipment so soon after the disaster, they couldn't reach the other person. And they smelled gas. A third person who had been thought to be missing was found uninjured at about noon. 9 people were taken to Hennepin County Medical Center, said Dr. Jim Miner, the hospital's chief of emergency services. Miner described the injuries as fractures, cuts and head wounds. He said no one was being treated for burns. "It could have been a lot worse," he said during a media briefing outside the hospital. "We were relieved, we were prepared for a lot more injuries. Still," he added, "it was a terrible tragedy." The building, which is near Lake Street in the 3100 block of West River Parkway, collapsed mostly in the center portion, the fire chief said, where the utility area is located and where a chimney was damaged but still standing. Window frames popped out of walls. Classrooms also took the brunt of the blast.
2 floors collapsed over a sub-basement that soon was filled with water from the hoses used to knock down the fire, Fruital said. Agents with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were on scene interviewing witnesses, one with his head bandaged. Minneapolis homicide detectives took witnesses one by one into a Metro Transit bus for interviews.